Hey guys, this is Alex703 Rockstar, and I am back with another album review. And I'll be reviewing the Ruby Kids Maps EP today. Um, it was lower on my list, but then I went to his Twitter, sort of saw him wanting me to review it, talking shit about me. Not in a bad way. It was in a jovial, joking manner. But I decided that I was gonna bump this up to the top of my list. Also because the album that was at the top of my list, "Sequences" by Gadget, was not an album that I was really ready to review anytime soon. So it's actually kind of good because this album I am much more prepared to review. Anyway, the Ruby Kid is a hip hop artist, an indie hip hop artist from London, UK. And this is, I think he has one album called Winter in the City before this. And this is his Maps EP. A lot of artists are releasing EPs now. It's longer than a regular EP. It's 9 tracks. And you can download it for £5 on his Bandcamp page, or buy a physical copy, which I think I did last night, which I'll link in the description bar. And he's playing a couple shows in New York in the coming month. If you're in New York or in the surrounding metropolitan area, you should come to his shows. Don't know where they're going to be yet, but I'll link his Twitter in the down bar, and that should keep you updated. Anyway, Maps. Okay, so for those of you who don't know who the Ruby Kid is, which I'm assuming is about 98% of you, he sounds sort of like a combination of Aesop Rock and Mike Skinner. His dense rhyme schemes are definitely reminiscent of Aesop Rock, but his sort of laid-back delivery, sort of just seeing life as it goes by style of writing is very reminiscent of the Streets, and very reminiscent of the Good Streets albums. And this EP, I'm going to come out and say, is absolutely excellent. He just takes sort of mundane or average parts of life and really spruces them up, makes them seem poetic and interesting. He also takes a real sort of view from the streets, but I don't mean the streets in sort of the typical way you would think of a hip hop artist speaking about the streets. It's not like the mean streets, like going out and shooting people. It's like a realistic streets, the realistic life, and he turns it into very grandiose metaphors and song structures. The production on this EP by Dan Angel is absolutely fantastic. On my Conquest of the Overfiend review, I was saying how I liked the Ruby Kid, but I didn't think his voice matched the beats at all. Well, here it's the complete opposite. This is the perfect match for him. The beats are crafty and original, and they take from a lot of different sources, not just hip hop. There's some rock in there, there's some jazz in there, there's a ton of piano in there, and they never overtake his voice. You can still appreciate them, and I think I would appreciate them as instrumentals even, but they will never overtake his voice. They never try to outshine him, and they don't add unnecessary instruments when they don't have to. You know, sometimes producers and beat makers have this issue where they'll just be like, let's throw some horns in, let's throw, some other riff in here. No, here they really don't overtake his voice, and there's no better, or try to steal the spotlight, and there's no better example than on the last track, Poems of Place 2, the Imagined Village, where it's a really, really minimalist beat. It's just him rapping, and then in the middle there's a sample of a singer that is beautiful, and his samples here are also fantastic. Everyone likes samples. Ever since the Wu-Tang Clan came out, everyone likes samples, but what people don't realize is a lot of artists don't use them properly. They just sort of throw samples in because it's a cool sort of producer trick or technique. But samples are a lot better when they actually match the concept of your album. MF Doom does that really well. Of course, Wu-Tang Clan do that really well, and so does the Ruby Kid. Or Dan Angel, I guess. He does an excellent job of not having too many samples, but the samples he has are extremely, extremely effective. The last 2 songs on the album are sort of like a conceptual 2-part poem song, and the last song is actually live from. Let me check where it was live from. I do not see that right now. I'm sorry. And it's sort of a two-part conceptual piece in the vein of the three-part piece off of Pharoah Monch's last album. What else does he do? Sort of the a cappella on the end, towards the end of the album. There's one track which begins with an a cappella song. I believe it's actually Poems of Place One, The Unreal City. Is extremely reminiscent of the end of the song Easy on Aesop Rock's Bazooka Tooth. His whole breathing pattern and everything is the same there. It's really good. And one thing, Ruby Kid knows how to write a good chorus, which rappers seem to have trouble doing. There is one song, The Key, where he sings, and do not do that ever again. That singing was not, that was a little painful. But for most of the time, he has very solid hip-hop choruses, and he doesn't rely on another singer to come in or a bad sample to take the chorus. So I think that is incredible, because we see so many rappers just have good verses but struggle to put together a chorus. Now, to the bad things on the album, there are very few. One is, I think he's a little smug on this album. I can't actually take points off from that because it's just an attitude, but he seems to sort of think of himself as, oh, look how poetic I'm being. Very, very hipster-esque, and I know he'll appreciate that. But there's also some filler on this album. Some songs, the key doesn't really stand out. Morning After Snow is okay. And some songs are a little too long, but for the most part, it's very high quality material, but there's a little bit of filler. And that's pretty much it, besides the singing. Don't sing again. Yeah, this is an excellent EP. This is up there, some of the best hip-hop work in 2010. Certainly, check this out. I will link you to all his shit. Alright, two more things. I want to do a blog TV from my school. Tell me what day would be good for you. It would have to be from like 6 to 7 standard Eastern time. I want to do it from my school though. A couple of my friends will be there. It will be dope. Just tell me what days you can do, and I'll try to arrange this. Second thing, since I'm not going to review this album in full, Lupe Fiasco's new album, in one sentence, he has good rhymes as usual, but the post-production and the ridiculous other singers on here absolutely ruin it for me. So yeah, that gets like a 3 out of 10, 4 out of 10 maybe, because there are a couple good tracks on there. In case I didn't say, Ruby Kid Maps EP, 9 out of 10, excellent stuff. Anyway, I'll see you guys later. Peace.